Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So I spent the day pouring bismuth again, and even though I swore I was going to have more balance in my life and take some time away from bismuth, it's kind of interesting. Every time you pour bismuth, you never know what you're going to get out of it. And if it's a good pour, you're like, wow, this is so easy. I'm going to be a millionaire doing this. And you want to do more and more and more. And if you have a run of bad luck, right, you keep getting things that don't look right, or you burn yourself, and you have a losing streak, I got to get something out of this. So you keep pouring. It's kind of like a gambler, right? No matter if you win or lose, you'll always want to gamble more, right? I feel kind of just like that. I used to have a friend who had gambling problems. Fortunately, he lost when he didn't have a whole lot to his name. He, we were in college. He was working part time at McDonald's, and he lost all the money that he made one summer, and he was really disappointed. And I think he kicked the habit after not long after that, anyway. So he lost when the stakes were low. He had a well-to-do family supporting him, and the loss wasn't the end of the world for him. But for me, it is because a lot of times I have a losing streak pouring bismuth, and I spent days and days and days, and then I develop toxic relationships with everybody that I come into contact with. So for me, the stakes are a little bit higher than when my friend was gambling online, even though he lost quite a bit of money at the time. But I discovered quite by mistake, I poured quite a few of these Tree of Life bars. So I was pouring one of these when I messed up, or I thought I did. And what had happened was the back of it is very sensitive to how you pour if you want it to be smooth. And I messed up. And in my haste to try and start over again, I took the graphite mold and tried to pour back the bismuth into the pot. And in doing so, I got this interesting pattern on the back of it. I made another one here, and we'll see. The nice thing is that not only does it look cooler, but it consumes way less bismuth than a solid bar would, right? So if these sell really well, that's a double benefit right there, right? Here's what it looks like if it were solid. This one over here. That's what I was trying to shoot for. Get a very smooth back. It's very difficult because as you're pouring, the bismuth is also oxidizing, and you want to pour it into the mold. And while it's still molten, scrape off as much of that oxide as you can, and be very. You got to have a very steady hand or while you're doing that. So it's very tricky, which is what causes me to end up staying days and days on end because I keep having winning and losing streaks. And I believe I learned in psychology one time when winning events are random, people are much more likely to keep pulling that slot machine, right? And casinos do a lot of psychological work to figure out what gets people to come back, but they don't need to, right? Bismuth crystals are very good at that kind of psychology, right? For some reason. Um, but you know what? I keep coming back to the idea that maybe when we execute Putin, we're going to use polonium 210 because, well, Poland was very supportive of our efforts, and it would just be such a fitting poison to use to execute Putin. Now, polonium is made from bismuth, and I would love to donate one of the best pieces I ever make for them to make the polonium to kill Putin. I just think that would make a fitting end to it. It doesn't take very much bismuth to make the kind of polonium you need to kill somebody. So maybe most of this will still be intact, and it could go in a museum after it's all done. Right? I keep coming back to every time I get a good pour of bismuth, I come back to that idea for some reason. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I'm gonna do that again. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum, 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 bum.